If James Johnson ever got into the ring with Dillon Brooks, she would erase his entire bloodline. Y'all gotta remember, James Johnson has a black belt, and not only that, but the man literally has an undefeated record in MMA. I mean, he's in the NBA for one reason and one reason only. And do you really think it's because he's actually a good player? I'll let you decide no for yourself. But in all seriousness, it's actually for his protection and security guard services. As a matter of fact, since Jake Paul thinks he can fight and wants smoke with NBA players, bro should have squared up with JJ instead of Nate Robinson. We'll put James Johnson in the erased bloodline tier. Wait, what the heck am I doing? Basically, I decided to see how NBA players would perform in a fight, and I'm putting them in a tier based on that. Now, what the heck does Shanghai Brooks have to do with anything? Well, I obviously needed to have the NBA players match up against somebody in the fight, right? And initially, I was about to go with Facundo Campaget, but the video would have just been like this. So, instead, I decided to go with the most average NBA player. And how did I come up with the NBA player that's most average? Well, the average height in the NBA is 6'6", and the average weight is 216 pounds, with the average cock size being... Okay, buddy, wouldn't you like to know? Did you really think I would go in and examine, inspect, investigate, analyze each player's hammer to get their average weight? Nah, you tripping. 7.5 inches. So looking at the average height and weight, Dillon Brooks is the closest player to those measurements. With all that being said, next up in the fight we have Karl Anthony Towns, the man of many talents. Cause he was born with like an extra feature, of like having his own auto-tune.
This is what movies is made of. 4 months away, I come back, 2 free throws, don't worry about it. I got that.
It's crazy because after all that, they took him off the court to put him even closer to the locker room. So I was like, all right.
I don't know about y'all, but for some reason, Cat just gives me like
Daddy chill
vibes. Despite all that zestiness, you probably think Shanghai Brooks stands a chance versus him. Nah, my boy Cat got this one in the bag. Put him in the probably wins this one. Next up, the hardest player in the league. And there's no shortage of size with this guy. He's got the full package. As Steven Adams is an absolute beast. On the outside looking in though, he seems kind of like, just like a real calm and quiet kind of guy. But if America's learned one thing, it's that the quiet ones are the ones you gotta worry about the most. Steven Adams, erased bloodline tier, bro. Giannis Antetokounmpo is literally built like this guy, thanks to the goddamn scientists who made him in a lab. The scientists just decided to throw in some Waffle House employees, a goddamn tiger, heck they even mixed in an ape, sprinkled in some vibranium, don't forget the entire weight room, and topped it off with some McDonald's Sprite, and out came Giannis. You know what they should do? They should lock up Giannis and Dillon Brooks in a Hell in a Cell match. And I promise you this, Dillon Brooks is walking out as Delilah Brooks. Erase bloodline. Joel Embiid, also erase bloodline tier. Anthony Street Clothes Davis, loses tier. Come on now. We all know he'd probably break his knee from the walk over to Delilah Brooks. The most devious and menace in the NBA, Patrick Beverley, has some of the most craziest records to his name. This man is a league leader in fouls consistently, but his most talented and prized achievement, averaging more barks per game than points per game. I can just imagine Pat Bev not stopping even after getting laid out and just like coming back for more and more. You know what I mean? It's kind of like when you're eating outside and flies just keep coming to your plate. Yeah, that's probably how the fight go. He's cool and menacing and has like that NBA young boy fan energy, but he loses. Ben Simmons lost it all after the Cardigan curse. But he does have a finish by submission under his belt. Wait, that sounded so wrong. I'm not talking about him doing that to Kendall. I'm talking about, the time when he tapped out Karl Anthony Towns. So, if we put Towns in the probably wins tier, we gotta be objective and consistent to add integrity to these rankings. Considering all that, let's also put Ben in the probably wins tier. Ja Morant, former NBA player, depends on when I decide to release this video, but he has the most unique hobby in the NBA. Aside from being a good citizen and spending his nights reading to these sweet young ladies, Ja Moron turns into John Wick whenever there's a camera around and decides to pull out his knife, or whatever else these kids call it nowadays. So, he has that advantage over his former teammate. But, if there's anything I've ever learned from being very, very close friends with many NBA players and hanging out with them, which is actually never, but it's that they make no goddamn sense with some of the decisions they make. With Josh Heisti's advanced weapon proficiency, Ja would clean his Glock, and then take care of business. Wait, actually, he can't even bring that into the ring. Nonetheless, I gotta go with Ja Morant. Probably wins for this one. Disagree with that? Well, you remember what happened with the last guy Josh Heisti got in an argument with? Yeah, exactly. Understand my decision now? Next up, Jordan Poole. Oh wait, oops, I actually need to take him out since I did say only NBA players. Instead, we'll go with his teammate. No, not LeDonk's cock muncher, aka Draymond Green. Instead, we'll go with Jonathan Kuminga, aka the cum bucket. Put him in the probably wins category. Let's keep it in the family, who are known for doing some pretty crazy things. I mean, when you combine that light-skinned, pink-lipped, green-eyed heartthrob with guys who have nicknames like cum bucket, cock muncher, God knows what else they did in that building. Sorry, got a little carried away. But Steph Curry versus Dillon Brooks. Seems like an easy win for Dillon Brooks, right? Yep. But, what if Curry actually stands a chance? I mean, think about it. He has a secret move that can help him. The Glock 9000 Supermax Extreme Pro Edition with longer lasting feature. Nah, bruh. This man can use his mouthpiece and shoot that thing at Dillon Brooks. You know, whenever Curry gets mad, it's like the first thing he always does. Come on, think about it. Him using that as a weapon? Okay, never mind, you're right. Steph Curry, Trae Young tier. Rajon Rondo. She has beef with like all her former teammates. Bro is surprisingly hated by a lot of his former teammates, but thinking about it, he low-key is a menace and somehow, I don't know how, but he's always involved in catching a body or something. Whether it's him catching the body or him being the body being caught. The most universally known body he's caught is Kim Kardashian's though. So, you know what that means, right? He also has a Kim Kardashian curse. And honestly, this fight between Rondo and Shanghai Brooks would probably be like bringing a fart to a shit fight. Give me Rondo loses. LeDon James, the proud owner of Josh Heisti, Shanghai Brooks, and others, who are all part of the infamous Memphis Grizzlies. There's probably no one on this list you care more about than this guy. And after their beef, where Brooks took it way too far and reached for the nether regions, which ended up injuring LeBron, you know this fight would sell out. The unthinkable things that LeBron would do to Brooks if they were both locked up together? Jahamas erase bloodlines here. The best NBA player right now, Jokic, has a lot of different talents and also altercations with different NBA players. But the coolest thing he has going for him? The fact that he has two 7-foot brothers that would catch a case for this man. I truly don't think Delilah Brooks stands a chance. Imagine Jokic and his two brothers teaming up. They'd run a Serbian goddamn train on Brooks. Jokic, tier war crimes. With all that being said, hope y'all enjoyed the video. Thanks y'all.